Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei and his harem becomes Power Rangers Mystic Force Part 1. Before we start, please go support Angel Gonzalez 753 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Issei is a male. Rias and her clan are less valued in the underworld because she is not someone outstanding in her faction, since she is not as powerful as her brother, in addition to not having important beings for her entourage, but despite that she always kept going, and together with them and a human friend Hyoudou Iseei, they will become the hope of the world. They will become the Power Rangers. Clarifications. The kids will be able to use the different generations of Power Rangers. The generation they will start with will be Mystic Force. There will be more Rangers, but the protagonists themselves will be the 5 original members of the club who were introduced in the anime. Gasper does not count because he appeared in the second season. Issei may have a harem, but the first will be Rias. Zordon will not be the guide of the Rangers, it will be a mystery who will be the son of a Ranger. Prologue. The world, a place where different races coexist daily with each other, although humans, the beings that inhabit this world, have not realized the existence of supernatural beings, races similar to them, but with different qualities to humans. There are angels, fallen, demons. That around the globe these races carry out daily activities like humans, going unnoticed in plain sight. Only a few privileged people know of the existence of these beings, either by being born with a sacred gear or having a unique quality. But only a small number of people know about this world by accidentally coming across a supernatural being like our friend Hyoudou Iseei. Issei is a 17-year-old high school boy, a kind and gentle boy who brings a smile to anyone's face. He does not mind helping others because he does not want to see people suffer like he did when he lost his parents in a car accident. But well, Issei was one of those small cases of meeting a supernatural being, in this case a demon, a schoolmate Rias Gremory, a high-class demon, and her entourage. Rias is a high-class devil who all her life has only been a mockery to the demonic world, since compared to her brother Surzich Lucifer, she was born with a very poor magic level and almost zero with respect to the power of destruction. Despite that, she has never given up, and with her great intelligence, she would be an adversary to fear, but like most demons, the only thing they care about is power. They have never given her the recognition she deserves, and that is why the title of heir of the clan has been given to Milikas Gremory, son of her older brother. Well, she by pure chance or by works of destiny met Issei and immediately conquered the heart of the Redeed, since she had never met a boy like him, and something in her chest told her that she wanted to be by his side. So with great courage, she told him what she was and explained everything about the factions and what happened in the Holy War. At first it was difficult for the brown-haired boy to assimilate everything, but in the end, with his characteristic attitude, he smiled, accepting the reality he was in, and relieving the Redeed, who believed that this would be a risky move, since he could call her crazy. But not even the brown-haired boy gladly agreed to be part of the school club to which Rias and her entourage belonged. But happiness does not last forever, since the parents of the Gremory were more than furious to see that Rias left the opportunity to obtain an extremely powerful piece, such as the Seker Yute, who was a boy from the academy named Basara Tauju, who became a member of the Citri clan, a clan whose leader was Sona Citri. The childhood friend of Rias and one, in the words of the demons, the next Mao Lucifer for her great power. The parents' fury was such that they would take away all support from the Redeed and leave her to her fate in the human world to, in their words, get rid of her and end the dishonor of the clan, which devastated the Redeed, since they would soon run out of resources because they could no longer even make contracts. In this situation, Issei did not sit idly by and allowed them to live in his house, since it was something big and for him alone it seemed somewhat exaggerated. But within all the adversities, a light of hope appeared when one day, walking through the outskirts of the city on top of a mountain, they saw a strange building that seemed abandoned, and without anyone seeing them, they used a magic circle reaching the entrance. Issei. What is this place, he said, confused. Rias. I don't know, I've never seen this place before, she said curiously. Bekeno. What could this be for? She couldn't finish because when she pressed it, a gate beneath them opened. All. The boys could only scream as they fell into what seemed to be the void until they hit the ground. Rias. Keno, the next time you see a button stuck on a door, don't press it if you don't think it's a bell, she said in pain. Keno. He understood. And now Issei-kun, are you okay, she said, looking at the brown-haired boy below her. Issei. Yes, Keno, but could you please step aside? It's not that you're heavy, but your knee hurts my back, he said calmly. Kiba. What is this place? He said, seeing that they were in a dark room. Kaneko. There is an exit over there, she said, pointing to a door. Rias. Let's go. The boys got up and started walking, but they had not noticed a camera watching them. Well, a person was watching them in a room with different monitors. Are you sure, Zordon, he said seriously. Zordon. Of course, if they are the ones, said a serious voice. Okay, Alpha, prepare everything, he said seriously. Alpha. Yes, immediately said a robot. "Let's meet the new Power Rangers," said the person entering through a door. Meanwhile the 5 boys continued walking through the dark corridors until they saw a door and entered a strange machine room that had a huge glass tube in the center. "Rias? What kind of place is this?" she said curiously, seeing everything. "Issei. This technology is very strange," he said, confused. "Bekeno. It is much more advanced than the one we know," she said, without understanding what the place was. "Greetings, young people," said a strange face appearing in the glass tube. "Rias? Who are you?" she said as the 5 of them gathered together, quite scared. "Calm down, don't be scared, my name is Zordon," he said with a peaceful voice. "Rias? What is this place, what are you?" she said, trying to stay calm. "Zordon. I am a cosmic being who searches throughout the universe to maintain peace and life, looking for worthy warriors, and this is my headquarters," he said, calmly, surprising the boys. "Rias? So why are we here?" she said, confused. "Zordon. You are those warriors, that is why no one else has seen this place, only the chosen ones can see it," he said, seriously surprising the boys. "Issei. We are the chosen ones, chosen for what?" he said curiously while everyone looked at each other. "To become the Power Rangers. The history of Power Rangers." The members of the occult club saw a black-haired boy who had suddenly appeared in that strange place, but the most intriguing thing was the fact that the being known as Zordon did not seem surprised by the boy's appearance. "Issei. Who are you?" he said, confused. "My name is Gustav Oliver, and I am here to help you," he said very calmly. "Zordon. That's right, he will help them on their way to becoming Power Rangers," he said seriously. "Issei. Power Rangers, you mean those warriors who will bring peace to the world?" I speak, surprised. "Zordon. That's right," he said seriously. "Rias? But why us?" I speak without understanding. "Zordon. Because you are good-hearted boys who care about your world and do not have ambitions as great as others, whether human or supernatural," he said, something calm, surprising the boys. "Issei. And what are the Power Rangers?" "Let me explain. There have been others before us," he said, curious. "Gustav? Yes, I'll tell you enough. It all began in another world where I come from. There was a city known as Angel Grove. 5 young people like you were recruited to fight against the evil sorceress Rita Repulsa. They managed to concentrate the power of the dinosaur to become the first Power Rangers with powerful Zords and powerful machines that helped the Rangers in difficult times," he said, while an image showed 5 people with strange outfits. "Gustav. With Zordon's guidance, the Rangers thwarted every attempt by Rita to conquer Earth. This led her to create her own Ranger by taking a boy known as Tommy Oliver, transforming him into the evil Green Ranger," he said seriously. "Bekeno. 1 second, Oliver was a relative of yours?" she said curiously, seeing how the boy looked away a little. "Gustav. He was my father, he passed away a few years ago," he said while looking at the image of the Green Ranger. "Bekeno. I'm sorry," she said sadly. "Gustav. It doesn't matter, he died doing his duty, let's continue. They want the Green Ranger to have the task of destroying the Power Rangers, and he almost succeeded, but the strong bond of friendship that existed between them helped them not to give up and free him from Rita's control, destroying the Power Sword, so he joined the team, but not for long. When they fought, they realized that his Ranger powers were temporary, but with Zordon's help, he became the White Ranger," he said seriously. "Gustav. When things began to change, a new enemy, Lord Zed, appeared, and with him the light of 3 Rangers disappeared, but with the help of the Power Sword, the powers were able to transfer to 3 new Rangers just in time, because Rita and Zed joined forces to create a new enemy, Rito. Although they fought bravely, it was not enough. Rito destroyed the Zords, but that never stopped them. A Ranger never gives up, and Zordon sent the Rangers to look for Ninja," he said calmly, while the boys looked at a strange robot with the appearance of a Ranger. "Gustav. A warrior from the past who taught them the secrets of the ancient ninja masters, providing them with new weapons, new Zords and new enemies who, along with Rita and Zed, managed to destroy the operation center, and the only thing left was the Zeo crystal that guided them to a new chapter in the history of the Power Rangers, turning them into the Zeo Rangers," he said seriously. "Gustav. After many battles, peace finally seemed to have arrived, but it was not time to move on to the next level, to the turbo level, a space pirate known as Divatox, who was ready to conquer the world. This also meant the end of the original group of Rangers, giving way to new warriors who would assume the power of the Turbo Rangers," he said seriously. "Gustav. Divatox was strong, and her tireless forces sent a fierce attack against the command center, destroying it completely, then fled into space. The Rangers had to follow her, but leaving the youngest of them on the planet. While they left the world they knew forever. Already in space they met Andros, someone worthy of being a leader, giving rise to the new Space Rangers, fighting against a new enemy known as Astronema," he said without concern, seeing the surprise of the boys. "Gustav. Together the Rangers defeated Astronema, but in the depths of the universe, a new battle began on the distant planet of Marinoi. 5 new heroes recovered the galactic sabers, becoming the Rangers of the Lost Galaxy to defeat their lethal enemy Dratrina, he said seriously. Gustav, who tried to destroy the space colony Terraventura, but thanks to the Red Ranger and his weapon, they were victorious. Meanwhile, on another planet, a select group was formed to face a new invasion of demons. They were the Power Rangers at the speed of light, who also with much effort, were able to defeat their enemies and emerge victorious, he said seriously. Gustav, these are just some groups of rangers that have existed throughout history, but there are many more like them with powers and different things. None of them were like others, but they were people like you, ordinary people who did not stand out in society, but they all took up the challenge and managed to make a difference. But now it's your turn, he said, while an image of several rangers appeared. Issei. But it's a mistake and they chose us by mistake, he said nervously. Gustav. Well, I don't think so. I know that at first it's hard to think that your life can change, or that you don't have what it takes to do the job, but the truth is I can see it in your eyes. You are different from the others, you just need to trust in yourself, forget everything you've been through, mockery, belittlement, humiliation, forget about them. Just believe in yourself and you will succeed, he said calmly, staring at the brown-haired boy. Rias. I want to do it, she said, surprising everyone. Kaneko. Yes, but I can too, she said determined. Diba. I want to help, he said without hesitation. Bakeno. Me too, said the same as Kaneko. Gustav. What do you say? He said looking at the brown-haired boy. Issei. I will do it, he said with determination. Zordon. I'm glad now. I'll put you in context. The powers of each Power Ranger have been stolen. We don't know who or what did it, but we need to stop him. We follow him to this world, and we manage to recover the powers of certain Rangers which they will use to face the enemies that are to come and recover all the powers of the other Alpha, he said seriously. Alpha. Oh, at your command, Zordon, here they are, he said, giving a box to the black-haired boy, surprising the boys when they saw a robot talking. Gustav. These are your morphos, he said, opening the box showing a kind of strange cell phones. Issei. And how do we use them? He said while each one took one. Gustav. They open them and put the code 123 and they say magic fountain, mystical force, he said calmly. Bakeno. That's all, she said curiously. Gustav. Yes, in my opinion we should train a couple of times. He couldn't continue because an alarm started ringing. Zordon. A monster just appeared in the center of the city, he said, while a screen showed a strange creature that terrified people. Giba. What's up so soon, he said nervously. Gustav. I know this looks bad, but I know you can do it, you just have to believe, he said calmly as the boys began to be transported to the city. Alpha. Do you think they can do it? He said nervously. Gustav. Of course they will do it. Who center? We can see people running in terror while the boys appeared, seeing how the creature was a few meters away from them. Rias. Guys, are you okay? She said nervously. Bakeno. I really don't know, she said the same thing. Monster. Oh, but look at the fresh meat that doesn't run away, he said amused. Giba. He already saw us, he said nervously. Kaneko. Now what do we do? She said nervously. Issei. Fight for that we accept, no, he said trying to have courage. Rias. I see, she said nervously. Issei. It's time for morphosis. The adventure begins. Issei and the others stared at the monster, although they looked a little scared. They had accepted the challenge of becoming the new Power Rangers, and now it was time to show everyone in them that they are not useless. Issei. Ready, magic source, mystic force, he said decisively while placing the code in the morpher. Morpher. Golgic Mystic Ranger. The morpher resonated as Issei transformed wearing a red outfit. Issei. Fierce as fire, red Mystic Ranger, he said determinedly. Issei. It worked, yes it worked, he said excitedly. Rias. Come on guys, let's not fall behind, she said determinedly. Giba Kaneko Akeno. Yes but they said in unison. All. Magic fountain, mystic force, they said imitating Issei placing the code. Morpher. Golgic Mystic Ranger. The voice sounded again while the boys transformed with an outfit similar to the others with slight variations and with their own color. Giba. Strong as a green Mystic Ranger tree, he said seriously. Bakeno. Fast as lightning, yellow Mystic Ranger, she said excitedly. Kaneko. Fluid like the blue Mystic Ranger, she said with her typical tone of voice. Rias. Hot as the wind Mystic Ranger, pink, she said excitedly. Old Power Rangers, mystic force, they said with determination. Monster. What? Power Rangers. At Ranger base. Gustav. Successful morphosis, he said calmly. Alpha. Sparks, they did it, he said excitedly. Zordon. Now we must wait. Back to the city. The boys looked seriously at the creature who was still quite surprised, but their surprise did not last long as it launched itself at the boys who were on guard. Issei. Attack, he said seriously. So the 5 boys launched themselves against the monster, giving it a few blows, some of which hurt it, but others ended up hurting the boys who tried to think of a plan to defeat it. "Monster? It's all you have, don't make me laugh," he said seriously. Issei. "Damn, we have to think of something and fast," he said seriously. "Gustav. Issei will not be able to win hand to hand, they will have to use their weapons called magic staff," he said seriously through a communicator in Issei's helmet. Issei understood, "Thanks," he said seriously. "Gustav. By the way, for the others you are supernatural beings, combine the magic staff with your magical abilities," he said seriously. "All understood," they said seriously. Issei. "Well, let's go again magic staff," he said, while the 5 of them took out some strange weapons, in the shape of a wander sword. Rias. "I'm going first," she said, starting to run, launching a cut at the creature's arm, causing its chest to be exposed, which Kaneko took advantage of, who let out a cut with her weapon, and then gave a powerful blow, sending the creature to the ground. Gibba. "Now it's my turn," he said determinedly as he took a big leap and created a sword, and launched a double attack in the shape of an X, leaving the monster nailed to the ground by the sword he created. "Akeno. Let's see what I can do, magic thunder," she said seriously while combining her weapon that opened in the shape of a beak and was covered by rays, giving a downward blow, causing a somewhat large explosion. Rias. "That should have been enough," she said nervously. "Monster. I didn't expect anything less from the Power Rangers, but this won't be enough to stop me," he said seriously. Rias. "Damn, he's getting up," she said seriously. Issei. "Quick Rias, help me attack him with your power of destruction," he said seriously while his weapon became a sword. Rias. "Okay," she said while putting away her weapon and with both arms launching a powerful attack of the power of destruction. Issei. "Please former Red Ranger, lend me your power to defeat this enemy," he said determinedly starting to run against the monster. Rias. "Issei, be careful," she screamed worried as she saw the monster come out of the attack somewhat hurt but ready to attack the brown-haired boy. Issei. "I accepted this job as the Red Ranger, that symbolizes leadership, and despite not being a supernatural being like them, I will give my best effort so that we can be victorious," he said determinedly as he jumped, managing to escape from the enemy's grip while his sword was wrapped in a tornado of fire, launching a cut in the creature's neck, decapitating it. "Monster. This can't be," he said while falling defeated. Issei. "Checkmate," he said as the monster behind him exploded. Rias. "Yes, we did it," she said while the 4 ran and hugged Issei. Issei. "Yes, of course we did," he said happily. "Sona. Who are you and what did you do with the monster that was attacking the city?" she said seriously, appearing with her entourage. Issei. "We are in trouble, could not continue because they disappeared from the place." Sona. "What the hell just happened?" Unknown location. In a gloomy place with little light, you could see several things talking to each other, some were very upset, others were upset, but there was one that was totally calm. "Could you all shut up now?" said the calm one, somewhat angry. How do you expect us to be calm if those damn rangers have appeared?" said one quite seriously. "Bree, they know very well that the rangers have been our prediction for years and with them here our plan is in danger," said another totally nervous. 6. "That's why we must act as soon as possible to finish them off," he said seriously. 4. "That's the best option we have," he said sincerely. "Why don't you calm down with this appearance? We have just confirmed our suspicions, and it is that Zordon only has the powers of the mystical rangers and nothing else, so they are not that strong," he said seriously. 5. "But what happens if they find the powers of other rangers? I remind you that we lost the powers around this world and its different factions," he said seriously and with some irony. "Well, instead of talking with your stupid irony, you should be looking for the ranger powers instead of being here whining like little girls." "Understood," he said angrily, leaving everyone scared. All. "Understood," they said scared. "Well then let's get to work." Ranger's base. We see the boys arriving at the place in a kind of strange ray, leaving them confused since they did not understand what had just happened, but they felt more than relieved to see Alpha and Gustav in front of them. "Gustav. That was an excellent job," he said with a big smile. "Alpha. You guys were amazing," he said very excitedly. Rias. "Thank you, the truth is that this has been a lot for one day. I think we should go rest," she said somewhat tired as she sat down. Gustav. "Yes, it will be the best," he said calmly, while the boys smiled. Zordon. "Young Rangers, I know that this has been your first victory, but you must know that from now on things will become more complicated. Are you ready to take the risk?" he said seriously while the 5 looked at each other and then Issei smiled confidently. Issei. "We'll be ready." Ranger life begins. The Rangers arrived at the academy, realizing that everyone was talking about them and what had happened in the city, which impressed them when they knew how many people noticed, which made them a little sad since most of them thought they were heroes. Rias. "I can't believe they talk so much about us," she said a little nervously. Issei. I know, but it's a little annoying the fact that they talk about you, but you can't say anything, he said thoughtfully. Keno. Yes, I know, but I think it's better to keep our identity to ourselves, she said calmly. Gustav. But what a good idea, Keno-san, said the boy in front of them. Gremory's Gustav, they screamed in disbelief. Gustav. Hey, you don't have to shout, you know, he said with a nervous smile. Rias. But what are you doing here? She said confused. Gustav. I decided to enroll in the academy to pass the time. I'm not going to spend every day locked up in you know where. Also, this can help me look for clues about the whereabouts of the energy, he said calmly. Kiba. That's very clever, well thought out, he said calmly. Gustav. I should also have informed you that now as rangers you must obey certain rules, he said calmly, while the 6 of them moved away from the people. Issei. What rules, he said curiously. Gustav. 1. Never use your power for personal benefit, 2. Never be the one to escalate a battle, and 3. Always protect your secret identity. Breaking any of these rules would result in the loss of your powers, understood, he said seriously. Gremory's understood said firmly. Gustav. Well, with all that said, let's go to class. Unknown location. We can see the entities upset as they tried to reach a solution to the issue of the Rangers, since their plans could fall apart now that they had returned. So what plan do you have to get rid of the Rangers? He said seriously. 3. We should carry out stronger and larger scale attacks, said one of them. 6. That would only cause us to use too much energy and end up weakening us almost completely, he said seriously. Poor Lothar is right, that would be very risky, said the person quite seriously. 5. But if we only sent simple attacks the Rangers could become increasingly stronger, while we become increasingly weaker, he said seriously. Lothar. And what's wrong with you? You haven't thought about anything, said the man with the leather mask seriously, looking at the boss. Of course, if we continue with these attacks while the Rangers notice the lost Ranger energies and slowly guide us to them, and I can assure you Rita, Lothar, Vipra, Lord Zed and Trakina the Earth, and not only that the universe will be ours, he said seriously as he sat in his seat. Villains, okay, we will trust you, Lord Draken. Goo Club Academy of Occultism. We see the 6 boys gathered after class while talking about what happened the day before, but their peace was interrupted when out of nowhere Sona and her group appeared somewhat serious. Sona. I see you're not investigating, she said with annoyance. Rias. What about, she said confused. Sona. A strange thing appears out of nowhere and begins to cause great destruction in the city. In addition, some strange beings in colorful suits come and defeat it, and you're left doing nothing. You laugh. How can you be so ignorant? She said seriously, making the Redeed feel a little bad. Issei. Citri Kaichu should not offend Rias in that way. If what happened interests you a lot, then dedicate your time to that, he said annoyed. Rias. And for your information, those strange colorful beings are called Power Rangers, she said seriously, tensing the others, making Sona look at her quite seriously. Sona. And how do you know that? She said seriously while Rias realized her mistake. Gustav. I told him so, said the boy calmly while drinking some tea. Sona. And who are you? She said curiously. Gustav. I'm just a simple human with great magical power who will join the nobility of Rias Gremory, heiress of Citri, he said calmly, while keeping his eyes closed. Sona. You know about us, she said incredulously. Gustav. If I told her that I will join Ria's entourage, it is more than clear that she would tell me about what they are, right? He said calmly. Sona. I see, and well, how do you know about those beings? She said seriously. Gustav. That's why, he said, taking out a phone showing a video where you could see how the already transformed boys proclaimed themselves Power Rangers, even the creature called them that. Sona. You recorded them, she said seriously, while the black-haired boy nodded. Saji. Hey, why don't you join Sona Kaichu's entourage? Don't you know that she is much more recognized than Rias, and she also has the Sekiryu and the Dragon King Vitra, he said with arrogance. Asara. Hey, that's enough, shut up, he said, annoyed by his partner's behavior. Gustav. No thanks, I don't like being with arrogant and haughty people who think they are the big thing, besides I prefer to have as friends people like Kiba or Issei than an idiot like you, he said with a big smile. Saji. Damn, you'll pay for this, he said angrily, grabbing the boy by the shirt. Sona. Saji, enough, she said seriously. Saji. Okay Kaichu, this time you're saved, he said seriously as he released the boy. Gustav. I thought you were a great piece of the Citri clan, now I see that you are just a lapdog, he said mockingly. Saji. Now you're looking for it, he couldn't continue because the black-haired man gave him a spinning kick sending him to the ground. Gustav. That was all, he said incredulously, seeing the blonde on the ground. Sona. I see that you are good, well Rias, let's go, she said seriously, while Basara picked up the blonde and they left the place. Rias. Thank you for supporting me, Gustav, she said somewhat embarrassed. Gustav. Don't even mention it, he said calmly. Hineko. By the way, Gustav-senpai, how did you manage to find the energy of the other rangers? She said curiously. Gustav. Well, with this device, he said calmly, showing a strange cell phone. Gibba. And how does it work, he said curiously. Gustav. Well, together with Alpha, we created a tracking system that would search for the ranger energy, but it is not ready. We must create a satellite device that allows us to expand the search range worldwide. If we activated it now, only its range samples would be displayed. He could not continue because he saw something strange. Bakeno. Huh. Gustav, what's wrong? Are you okay? She said curiously. Gustav. This is impossible, he said confused. Rias. What's wrong? She said curiously. Gustav. According to this, there are 5 more ranger energies apart from yours in the city just 1 kilometer from here, he said confused. Issei. What are we waiting for? Let's see. The 6 quickly began to run as fast as they could, while being guided by the boy who sometimes changed direction, and that was because the place they were going was not in a straight line until they finally arrived, seeing a large building. Rias. The museum, she said confused. Issei. But what kind of ranger energy would be in a place like this, he said curiously. Gustav. I don't know, but we have to find out. Potter Mighty Marfin. The boys entered the museum curiously while they were guided by the black-haired man who continued to pay close attention to the signal sent by his device while the boys looked at all the statues, paintings or any work of art that was in that place until they finally reached a gigantic room where the signal became stronger. Rias. Wow, how huge, she said, seeing a room dedicated to dinosaurs, whether documents or fossils. There were even several skeletons of different dinosaurs. Gustav. I think I'm already getting an idea of what's going on here, he said seriously. Issei. So what do we do? He said curiously. Gustav. Well, split up and look for something different than a museum or something that doesn't belong in this place, he said seriously, while the 6 of them split up, going to different areas of the room, analyzing each thing in detail. Gibba. But what are we looking for? He said curiously, seeing different texts. Gustav. I don't know, Zordon, and I don't know how the ranger energies can be presented in the world, he said curiously. Bakeno. This will be difficult if we don't know what we're looking for, she said, looking through some crystals at some fossils and amber. Issei. Come on guys, let's put that negativity aside and focus on searching, he said calmly, while the others nodded following the search. Kaneko. Hey guys, I found something, she said, getting everyone's attention. Rias. Kaneko, what the hell are you doing up there? She said as she looked at how her tower was on top of a triceratops skeleton. Kaneko. It's just that above it there is a strange sphere that is changing colors just a little more, and I have it. What happened? She said confused, seeing how the sphere entered the skeleton. Rias. Kaneko, what happened, she said confused. Kaneko. The sphere disappeared. She couldn't continue because the skeleton, like the others, was falling into pieces. Bakeno. Kaneko, are you okay? She said nervously as everyone ran to help the little albino loli. Kaneko. Yes, I'm fine, but I don't understand what she couldn't continue because everyone began to see how all the bones began to join together into a single skeleton. Rias. Okay, I've read about dinosaurs many times and a dinosaur like that has never come out, she said nervously. Gustav. We have to beat him, he said seriously as he started running against him. Issei. We transformed, he said curiously. Gustav. Don't show your skills without the powers, he said seriously while catching the skeleton's attention. Rias. Come on guys, let's show our capabilities, she said while launching a powerful attack of destruction. Gibba. My turn, he said seriously, summoning his sword colliding with the front horn of the skeleton. Issei. Kaneko, attack his legs, he said seriously while the albino nodded, starting to run against the skeleton, sweeping and hitting the 4 legs of the creature, making it fall. Akinen. My turn, he said seriously, throwing a ray at him, causing him to become dizzy. Issei. That's it, he said seriously, starting to run, climbing onto the skeleton's back and starting to ride. Rias. Issei, be careful, she said alarmed. Issei. Calm down, I won't let go, I'm tiring him out, he said while being shaken strongly. Gustav. Issei's bones must have a weak point near the head, he said nervously about the risk. Issei. The head, he said seriously, looking at the bones that connected the neck to the body. The brown-haired boy held the bone that served as a connection, applying a little force, managing to remove said bone, causing the head to fall, so that the rest of the body would later fall apart completely, causing the boy to fall. Rias. I see, are you okay? She said worriedly as she ran to help the brown-haired boy. Issei. Yes, I'm fine, he said somewhat in pain, standing up on his own. Gustav. Take out your morphers, he said quickly, watching the orb come out of the rest of the bones. The 5 boys, without hesitating for a single moment, took out their morphers, watching as the strange sphere broke into 5 colored sparks. Red, blue, black, pink and yellow that entered the boys' morphers, causing them to change their shape into a strange bracelet or belt buckle. Rias. Wow, this is great, I got it. She couldn't continue because she saw how the bones strangely began to reassemble into the dinosaurs they were before. Issei. How strange, he couldn't continue because. Gustav. A new attack, let's go, he said as everyone started running out of the place, seeing how there were some explosions a little far away. Issei. And how this works is different from the others, he said curiously. Gustav. Just say the names of the dinosaur you have in your respective morpher and you'll do it right, he said seriously as he walked away. Rias. Okay guys, you heard me, let's go, she said seriously as they ran to the address, seeing a strange turtle-shaped monster but walking like a normal person. Fortunate. Where are the Power Rangers? Where are they? He said seriously while destroying the different objects that were around him. Issei. Hey, you were looking for us, super developed reptile, he said seriously as they stood in front of the being. Hornet. So you are here, come and play, he said seriously. Issei. Ready guys, it's morphin' time. The Keno Mastodon. Giba Triceratops. Kaneko Saber, Toothed Tiger. Rias Pterodactyl. Issei Tyrannosaurus. Dodos. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The boys began to run, summoning their weapons and beginning to attack the creature with everything, who showed that he had a great defensive armor, but soon Rias launched an attack on his arm, causing great damage. Rias. Guys, attack his limbs, they are not protected by his shell, she said seriously as the boys began to attack. Gustav. Guys, copy me, he said seriously. Issei. Loud and clear, he said seriously while attacking the enemy's legs a couple of times. Gustav. They found a weak point of that thing, but we can defeat it with their weapons, but they need to combine them, he said seriously. Kaneko. Seriously combine them, she said curiously. Gustav. Yes, do it, he said seriously, while the 5 of them nodded and began to join their weapons into a kind of giant crossbow. Fortunate. They think that scares me, don't make me laugh, he said arrogantly. I see it. Ready guys, he said seriously. All. Ready, they said firmly. Issei Power Blaster, he said pulling the trigger. All. Fire. As soon as they said this, a powerful ray was launched at the turtle, blowing it to pieces. Issei. We did it, he said seriously as he turned around and an explosion appeared behind them. Very far. Lord Draken. Let's see if you're ready for this, he said seriously, pressing a button that made a ray of light emerge in the direction of the area where the boys had fought. Issei. What is that? He said watching the lightning strike where the monster was. Fortunate. Lol, I'm back ready for the second ranger assault, he said now with a size larger than a building. Issei. Those are bigger problems, he said nervously. Gustav. Calm down, we have a solution, he said seriously. Rias. What do you mean? She said confused. Gustav. With these rangers we have something prepared, he said seriously. Issei. What a thing, he said confused. Gustav. Time for the Zords, he said seriously. Giba. Said Zord. He couldn't continue because Kaneko interrupted him. Kaneko. Look at Haya, she screamed in surprise as everyone watched giant creatures arrive. Issei, the Zords. The first Megazord. The boys were quite excited to see their Zords arriving and placing themselves in front of the monster ready to attack, while in a distant place, there were several beings quite upset to see how the young people had obtained one of the ranger energies. Rita. Those brats got ahead of us, they already got one, she said angrily. Lord Draken. Silence, this doesn't affect my plans at all. Now let me watch the fight. He said seriously while everyone fell silent. Back to battle. Issei. This is crazy, he said in disbelief as the 5 transformed into aces of light and entered the Zords. Fortunate. You think that because you have your stupid Dino Zords you scare me, well think again, he said seriously as he began to run against them. The Keno. Come on, you're so tough, she said as she increased her speed and then crashed head-on into her opponent. Fortunate. Oh, the great black ranger thinks she is too strong to come and attack me alone, she said, while opposing strength to avoid the movement of the mastodon. The Keno. I think you didn't see the cute kitten, she said amused. Fortunate. Kitten, he said confused. Kaneko. Surprise, she said as her tiger Zord ran at full speed up the back of the mastodon, swiping at its face. Fortunate. Damn, you're going to pay for this, he couldn't continue because he was hit from behind by the Tricerazord, leaving him in the middle of both Zords. Giba. Where do you think you're going? He said curiously while together with the Keno they caused great pressure on the monster. Issei. My turn, he said while he let out a tail whip hitting the turtle's face and then trying to bite it. Fortunate. Damn Rangers, I'm already done, he said furiously, freeing himself from the two Zords and throwing everyone away, causing the Tyrant Zord to collide with the Tiger Zord. Issei. Damn, it's tougher than it looks, he said while trying to lift his Zord. Fortunate. I think it's my turn to play, don't you think? He said seriously as he walked slowly to the Tyrant Zord. Rias. Of course it's not mine, she said seriously, while the Pterozord began to shoot at the creature. Bustav. Guys, you're good at fighting individually, but I think it's time to move on to teamwork, he said seriously. Issei. I think you're right, he said seriously. Bustav. All set guys, activate the Megazord tank mode, he said seriously. Issei. Understood, ready guys, he said seriously. Ikeno Kiba Kaneko Rias. Lists. Rangers. Dino Megazord tank mode, they said in unison as the Zords began to couple together, the Tiger Zord and Tricerazord in front of the Tyrant Zord, while the Masto Zord was placed behind him, and finally the Ptero Zord on his head. Rangers. Transformation complete, they said with their new and powerful weapon advancing at full speed. Issei. How about a show of our power? He said seriously as the Megazord began to attack. Fortunate, aha, damn Rangers, I won't be defeated so quickly, he said while getting back up from the tank attack. Issei. He is indeed strong, he said seriously. Bustav. Well, let's go all out, go into battle mode, he said seriously. Issei. Okay, Dino Megazord battle mode. As soon as the brown one activated the second mode of the Megazord, the Zords began to rise, while the Mastodon's cannons became the arms, while the Tiger and Tricerazords became the legs, the Tyrant Zord's head, and the Ptero Zord formed the chest, finishing the transformation. Rangers Dino Megazord power up. Bustav. Here's a little gift for you, he said seriously, while the boys watched a giant sword fall from the sky. Issei. Thank you, he said while taking the sword. Rias Ikeno Kiba Kaneko. Power sword activated, they said ready to fight. So the boys began to fight with everything, throwing multiple cuts at their opponent who tried to get back up by throwing punches, showing a very close fight that both sides did not want to lose for any reason. Rias. We must finish him off at all costs, she said seriously. Issei. It's time to finish you off, he said seriously while raising his sword. Rangers. Power sword final blow, they said determinedly as the sword gargled with lightning, launching a powerful cut. Fortunate, I couldn't be defeated, he couldn't continue because he fell defeated, exploding almost immediately. Issei. Monster defeated, he said while raising his thumb. Bustav. Excellent work, Rangers. The next day. The boys arrived at school and were surprised to see most, if not all, of the students in the school talking about the Power Rangers and what happened yesterday with the giant creatures. Issei. It seems that this Power Rangers thing is growing in a big way, he said nervously. Bustav. You're joking, they're practically celebrities. The whole city is talking about what happened yesterday, and not only that, he said seriously while taking out his cell phone and showing them a video. Issei. That can't be, he said incredulously, while the five watched different news programs inside and outside of Japan talking about the Power Rangers. In some countries like the USA or Russia, the idea was planted that if they were good or bad. Others, like a large part of the European and Latin American countries, wondered if they had a threat like the one yesterday, the Rangers would come to their aid. Rias. Wow, that's really being known worldwide, she said nervously. Bustav. Well, it was to be expected, it's not every day that a monster attacks a city and then becomes a creature larger than a building, and people in colorful suits have to use robots that merge to defeat it, he said calmly. Ikeno. That's a good point, but now we'll have to stay more alert, she said seriously. Rias. Yes, and that's why we'll only talk about it in specific places, she said seriously, while the other five nodded. Issei. Well, let's go to class, couldn't continue because someone spoke. Hello, Rias, said a female voice, causing the Redeed and the others to turn around to see who it was. Rias Ikvera. Problems, more and more problems. The Gremory entourage along with Gustav looked curiously at the girl in front of them who casually greeted Rias. She had a cold and serious look on her face, but you could see on her face that she was somewhat excited. Rias. Sikvera, but what are you doing here? It was assumed that you had not accepted the idea of studying in the human world, she said, confused looking at the girl in the academy uniform. Sikvera. I know, but all that changed because of this, he said, showing them an image of the Megazord. Rias. For that reason, she said nervously and a little confused. Sikvera. If it is a mecha, can you believe it? A giant functional one. I want to see it in person. I want to know who controls it and how they did it, she said very excitedly. Issei. The beings that control it are called Power Rangers, he said with a drop of sweat on his head. Sikvera. If I already know that, the whole underworld knows it. What I want to know is who is hiding under those helmets. I want to know their secrets about the mechas, she said determinedly. Rias. Oh, you see, wait a second, the whole underworld knows about the Power Rangers, she said incredulously, while everyone looked at the girl. Sakvara. Well, the great battle between the mecha and that monster was news in all the factions, and Sona told her sister the Mao Leviathan that those 5 beings in colorful suits are called Power Rangers, she said seriously. Rias. All factions. 7 hours later. All the Rangers and their friend were extremely nervous, since not only the human world would know of their existence, but also all the factions, and it wouldn't take long for them to look for them. Issei. What are we going to do now? All the factions will look for us, he said nervously. Rias. Yes, I know, but we still have something in our favor, she said thoughtfully. The Keno. What a thing, she said curiously. Rias. Only the demons will be able to look for us in Ku, because this city is the territory of our faction, and if any other faction tries to enter as if nothing happened without a real apparent reason, it could unleash a conflict between the two, leading them to war, and that would be disastrous for anyone, she said thoughtfully. Gustav. I must admit that this could alleviate the problem of factions a little, he said seriously. Issei. I know, but for the moment we must be much more cautious, he couldn't continue because Sona and her group entered. Rias. Hey Sona, what's wrong with you? Why do you come in like that? You should learn to play, she said angrily. Sona. I'm sorry for my mistake. I'm sorry for coming in like that, but we need to talk about an important topic, she said seriously, while Sakvara also entered the place. Rias. If it's because of Sakvara, I know, and couldn't continue because Sona spoke again. Sona. It's not that, it's a more delicate subject, she said seriously. Rias. What is it about? She said curiously. Sona. Tomorrow 2 envoys from the church will come to Ku. They want to talk to us. We don't know their reasons or motives for coming here, but they will be here at the academy, and I would like the meeting to take place here at your club, she said seriously. Rias. 2 envoys from the church, she said confused. Sona. That's right, she said seriously. Rias. Well, I don't see any problem in receiving them at the club, she said calmly. Sona. Thanks, tomorrow after school. 3 hours later. Outskirts of Ku. We can see the 5 rangers training hard while being supervised by Alpha, who gave them light orders to continue improving their performance as rangers. Alpha. Keep going like this, remember to improve your physical abilities as simple humans, or rather demons will also be amplified when it comes to being rangers, he said calmly, while Issei fought hand to hand against Kiba, who without hesitation responded to the attack. The Keno. What's wrong? You're already tired, she said as she stood up and wiped some dust off her cheek. Rias. Of course I wouldn't do this all day, she said as she started running against the black-haired girl. Kaneko. Don't forget about me, she said seriously as she fell from the sky, throwing a punch and a kick that were suddenly dodged by the 2 girls, who threw a kick at the albino girl who stopped her with her arms. Without them realizing it, thanks to Alpha, both Zordon and Gustav watched the boys training in detail. It must be said that for some strange reason, Zordon did not seem very convinced by the new rangers. Gustav. It seems that they will achieve great things, he said calmly. Zordon. Do you really believe that? He said seriously. Gustav. Oh, I didn't like that tone of voice very much. What's wrong, Zordon? He said, curious. Zordon. I could see it in their eyes, these boys suffer because of their past, something disturbs them, and Issei, who was chosen as the leader, feels inferior to the rest for not having a supernatural quality, he said seriously. Gustav. There's Zordon, you have taught a lot to other rangers, even me, you can't realize it, right, he said calmly. Zordon. Well, it seems that the student surpasses the teacher, I haven't noticed, he said curiously. Gustav. If it is obvious that they have suffered perhaps from Kiba, Akeno and Kaneko, I don't know much yet, but from the short time that I have known Rias, I can see that she was despised by her own people for not being what was expected of her, comparing her to the demon Sona Citri, but despite that she serves as a cornerstone for this group, she always seeks to help, and yes, maybe sometimes she seems like an overprotective mother, but that shows me how much she cares about her friends, and Issei, well, he has those problems of not being a supernatural being as strong as his companions, but his effort and dedication shows how much he cares not to fall behind the boys, he said calmly looking at the brown-haired boy training. Zordon. You really put forward a very detailed and at the same time thoughtful point of view, he said more calmly. Gustav. And you yourself have realized that having a special ability is not what makes you a Power Ranger, but rather the desire to truly help, that is what a Ranger is, and they have it, because they are not just 5 kids who simply know each other, they are a family, and I can assure you that when they have to fight with their past, the others will be there to support them, he said calmly as he turned around and walked out of the barracks. Zordon. A family. The next day. Your academy. We can see the two entourages gathered together, along with Sekvera and Gustav, who were seriously waiting for Sona to arrive with the guests, but that didn't take long, as after a few minutes the door opened, revealing the brunette followed by two hooded girls. "A pleasure, damn it," said one of them. "Rias? A pleasure, sent from the church," she said seriously. "I'll be brief and quick, we have two reasons that bring us here, one extremely important and the other circumstantial, which came up at the last minute," she said seriously. "Sona? And could you tell us what they are about?" she said seriously. "The main thing is to find and hunt down the Kakabeel cadre in order to recover fragments of the Excalibur sword that were stolen," she said seriously, while the blonde tensed up. "Rias? A cadre is in our territory," she said incredulously. "Sona? Wow, that is really dangerous, and what is the other reason?" she said curiously. "I'll tell them even if they get a little upset," she said seriously. "Saji? I really don't think it's that bad," he said seriously. "Find the Power Rangers. An ancient being." Everyone was surprised, and it was surprising, since the church's emissaries had just revealed their intentions to find the Power Rangers causing trouble in the Citri clan. "Sona? So they came for the Power Rangers," she said seriously. "Zenobia? Is there a problem, Citri heiress?" she said seriously. "Sona? No, none of them, I just find it curious that they say that looking for the Rangers is a secondary job, but it seems that that is their main job, even the Kakabeel thing seems like a smokescreen, and that is not real, they only want the Rangers to become part of the Sky faction," she said seriously. "Zenobia? I don't care what you say, we just came to inform you about our presence in this territory, we'll leave without further ado," she said seriously, while both envoys stood up to leave. "Saji? No, you are not going to leave here until my mistress finishes talking," he said seriously, while holding the blue-haired girl's hand tightly. "Irina? Citri dear, better let go of my partner or this will end badly," she said seriously. "Issei? Hey, why don't we calm down a little," he said nervously. "Sona, silence Hyoudou," she said seriously. "Rias? And who do you think you are to silence Issei?" she said angrily. "Irina? Issei Hyoudou, oh my god, you are Hyoudou Iseei," she said excitedly. "Issei? Yes, that's my name," he said confused. "Irina? What's wrong Issei? Don't you remember me? I'm your childhood friend Irina Hyoudou," she said excitedly. "Issei? Hyoudou Irina, what are you? But my childhood friend was a child," he said confused as an image came to his mind. "Irina? It's a long story, but I see why did you become a demon," she said indignantly. "Issei? A long story," he said nervously. "Sona? Could you leave your childish conversations for later," she said angrily. "Gustav? This discussion is absurd, no supernatural being knows the Power Rangers in person, which makes you think that they will join a faction," he said seriously, while everyone remained silent. "Sekvera? He's right, nobody knows who's under the helmet, and what if they know about the faction," she said seriously. "Zenobia? You're right, but it seems that they are beings who watch over the safety of the innocent, and most likely if we find them, they will join the church," she said seriously. "Issei Rias Kiba Kaneko Akeno Gustav? If you knew that all the Rangers are demons," they thought in unison. "Irina? Come on Zenobia, like the boy said, this discussion is absurd," she said seriously as the two left the place. "Sona? Damn, we have to intensify the search for the Rangers," she said seriously. "Rias? Good luck with it," she said calmly while her group stood up. "Sona? You won't do anything, that's why you don't aspire to be more like a demon," she said seriously. "Rias? The Rangers are your obsession, not mine, so stop bothering me and get out of my club," she said seriously. "Sona? Whatever," she said angrily, leaving the place. "Sekvera? Well, Rias, with the meeting over, I'm leaving too," said the girl leaving the club. "Rias? We must plan our movements well from now on," and she couldn't continue because she saw Kiba leaving the place. "Issei? Kiba, wait," he said confused. "Gustav okay?" he said curiously. "Rias? I'm afraid not." 5 hours later. On a stormy night, a Gremory knight was running through the rain while chasing a crazy-looking man who was carrying a gun and a sword. "Fred? Oh, but if it's a disgusting demon, you come so I can have a little fun," he said amused. "Kiba? I will kill you and take and destroy that sword," he said angrily. "Fred? Let's really play then," he said seriously, starting to run against him. "Kiba? I have to do it, forgive me but you," he said seriously while taking out his morpher. "Fred? You are my…" Ooh. A strong attack sent him flying away, leaving the blonde in shock who couldn't believe what he had just seen. A strange attack suddenly hit Fred, sending him flying. "I can't believe you were chosen to be a ranger, you have a weak will," said a voice behind him. "Kiba? Who are you?" he said confused, turning around to see a strange creature. "Kiba? A monster," he couldn't continue because the strange being quickly attacked him with his sword. "I'm not exactly a monster." The next day. Your academy. We can see a rather nervous Rias as she looked everywhere trying to be calmed by her queen, but it was no use since the Rias could not control how upset she was. Issei. But you is fine, he said, curiously arriving with gusto. Rias. No, Kiba hasn't arrived. I've tried by all means to contact him, but he doesn't respond. I'm worried that something bad has happened to him, she said nervously. Hineko. But you has already searched all the classrooms and laboratories in the school, and there is nothing, she said sadly. Rias. This can't be, she said worried. Akeno. Come on Rias, calm down, you'll see that he will appear soon, don't worry, she said, distressed for both her partner and her mistress. Rias. No Akeno, I can't calm down. You guys are the most important thing I have, and I wouldn't forgive myself for losing you, she said upset. Issei. Not even the pieces work, he said incredulously. Rias. No, that's what worries me the most. According to the pieces, they are infallible, and only a being at the level of a Mayu could block the signal, and Kakabiel is among those beings, she said worriedly. Gustav. Rias, calm down, if we don't know anything about him until after classes we will go to the base, from there we can see his morpher location, he said seriously. Rias. It's okay, I just hope it's okay, she said nervously. Issei. Don't worry, it will be. Unknown location. In the distance of the forest on either side of Ku, we can see the young Gremory knight lying on the ground on a pile of leaves and a campfire, while he slowly opened his eyes, realizing that he was not in the city. Kiba. Where am I, he said very confused. I see you're conscious now, said the strange being that had attacked him at night. Kiba. Who or what are you? He said confused while looking for his morpher. You were looking for this, he said seriously while raising his hand with the boy's morpher. Kiba. Damn you, give that back to me, he said angrily trying to get up. Calm down, take it, but tell me why you want to be a ranger if you are willing to break the ranger laws, he said seriously. Kiba. I don't care about that, after all you're just a mon, he couldn't continue because the being was covered in a purple fire taking on a human appearance. I'm not a monster and my name is Deeker. A lesson for Kiba. Kiba looked completely confused at the now known as Deeker, who stood in front of him staring at him, while the boy looked at his morpher in his hand, without knowing whether to use it or not, but deep inside him, Deeker's presence didn't put him on alert, it made him feel strange. Deeker? What's wrong? Why don't you use it? He said seriously. Kiba. Why did you bring me here? He said confused. Deeker. I want to understand how someone like you was chosen as a ranger, he said seriously. Kiba. What the hell are we talking about? He said more confused. Deeker. I speak as if someone as weak as you with so little spirit is capable of becoming a ranger, he said seriously. Kiba. I am not weak, he shouted furiously summoning a sword launching a cut against Deeker, but he quickly interposed his sword breaking Kiba's. Deeker. You see, you are weak, your sword reflects your will, if it breaks easily, your spirit will do the same, and that is why you were about to reveal your identity by breaking the laws of the rangers, he said seriously. Kiba. Silence, you don't know anything, he said seriously while facing him with another sword. Deeker. I don't understand pain, suffering, you think you're the only one who has suffered in all of history, he said seriously while he stood on guard. Kiba. Shut up, screamed, starting to attack. Deeker. You don't understand, right? You're not the first or the last ranger who has suffered. There were rangers who lost family, be it a father or a son. That's part of life and we must learn to live with it. But it's not just to seek stupid and absurd revenge, but to be able to move forward and help the important people who surround us now. He said seriously while both were fighting a tough battle, but it was obvious that Deeker was holding back. Kiba. But how to move on, how can you understand that, he said with pain. Deeker. Because I have been able to experience pain, he said seriously while they stopped the blonde in his tracks. Kiba. What, he said incredulously. Deeker. Losing my life and letting the woman I loved lose her humanity to save, but in exchange we would both live cursed and without being able to remember her, even having her in front of me, he said seriously while attacking the blonde who was trying to defend himself. Kiba. So you were once human too, he said incredulously. Deeker. You understand now, you all must learn to fight with pain and more when you are a ranger, you have to overcome it in order to support your teammates, because you are not the only one who has problems, you are all the same despite being demons or different races. There is a bit of humanity in you that makes you feel the pain, but as a team you must support each other and not close in on yourselves, that will lead you to your own destruction, he said seriously while breaking Kiba's guard making him fall. Kiba. I know we have all suffered in our lives, and although we support each other, we are afraid to put aside the pain, he said as he stood up. Deeker. I see that you can already understand, but it is not enough that you transformed, he said seriously taking his other form. Kiba. Okay, magic fountain, mystic force, he said seriously. Morpher. Golgic mystic ranger. Kiba. Strong as a tree green mystic ranger. Deeker. Let's see how strong you are now. Base Ranger. We can see the boys arriving at full speed to the headquarters, confusing Zordon and Alpha a little when they see them a little upset and nervous. Alpha? What's going on? He said curiously as Gustav began typing on the computer. Rias. Kiba doesn't appear and we haven't been able to contact him by any means, she said nervously. Apple. Oh yee, but what a tragedy, I hope young Kiba is okay, he said alarmed. Zordon. Me too, if something bad happened, it would be a great loss for the Rangers, he said seriously. Issei. Let's hope not, he said nervously. Gustav. Okay, I have it, we should see its location now, he said seriously looking at the screen. Gustav. But what, he said incredulously seeing how the screen said air. Rias. What's happening? Why does it say air? She said nervously. Gustav. No, I don't understand, there is no type of technology in this world that could block the signal of the moppers, he said, while typing non-stop. Issei. Then what could cause this, he said distressed. Zordon. The only way the morphers won't respond is if he couldn't continue because Gustav spoke. Gustav. It's that a powerful enemy of the Rangers breaks the signal, he said, alarming everyone. Rias. What did you say? She couldn't continue because an alarm started ringing. Alpha. They are attacking the city, he said nervously while an image appeared on the screen. Gustav. Damn, you have to go, he said seriously. Rias. Boo, but what will happen to Kiba? She said nervously. Issei. Besides, we need all 5 of us to beat him, he said nervously. Gustav. Go on, you can't always fight together, there will be times when you leave and have to be alone, and as for Kiba, I'll keep trying to locate him, but now you must go and save the city, he said seriously. Issei. Okay lists, he said seriously. Rias Akeno Kaneko. Ready, they said nervously. All. Magic fountain mystic force, they said transforming. Gustav. Good luck. Forest. The blonde looked somewhat diminished by the advantage that Deeker had compared to him, but now more than ever he could give up, he wanted to show him that he was a true ranger. Deeker. This is over, he said seriously, making a cut. Kiba. You will not beat me, he said determinedly, launching a cut with his sword. Both swords collided, causing Kiba to forcefully push his sword with great determination, causing it to win the clash of forces, causing Deeker to lose his sword. Something like that. Kiba. I did it, he said incredulously. Deeker. You did it, I see that in the end you understood it, he said calmly while walking taking his sword. Kiba. Come on, I haven't defeated you yet, he said seriously. Deeker. You already did it, he said calmly while throwing his sword at him. Kiba. What does this mean, he said confused. Deeker. I finally made you understand what is the true path you must follow now that you are a ranger, and I give you my sword as my approval, he said calmly as he began to walk on the opposite side of the boy. Kiba. Wait, boo, he couldn't continue because he saw a strange black-haired woman with a guitar appear in front of Deeker. Deeker. It's time for me to go and you must hurry, your friends are facing an enemy in the city, he said calmly as he took the woman by the arm and they both walked away, disappearing in particles of light. Kiba. Thank you, master. Goo City. Issei. Damn, that's really tough, he said seriously. Muker. You will never be able to overcome Muker's power, he said seriously. Kiba. Well, we'll see, he said appearing behind him launching a double attack. Ranger. Kiba, they said in disbelief. Kiba. Sorry I'm late, he said seriously as he joined them. Issei. And that sword, said seeing Deeker's weapon. Kiba, a gift. Titanic power. The 5 rangers were finally together, facing the monster, who didn't seem to care in the least about Kiba's appearance, even though he managed to attack him and cause some damage. Issei. Let's go for him, he said seriously, while his weapon was covered in flames going to attack. Muker. Do you think that because there are 5 of them and with your flames they scare Muker? Well, don't believe it, he said seriously, while he interposed his arms receiving the attack with minimal damage. Issei. You thought my goal was to attack you, he said seriously, while the monster lowers its arms receiving a lightning bolt and a blow from the yellow and blue rangers. Kiba. And that's not the only thing, he said seriously while launching an upward cut that sent the monster to the ground. Rias. And I'm done, she said seriously while launching a powerful attack of destruction from above. Muker. Damn rangers, that hurt me, he said angrily as he stood up. Rias. We have to finish him off before he causes more damage to the city, she said seriously. Kiba. I have an idea, but I need your help, he said seriously. Rias. Okay guys, let's go, she said seriously while the 4 rangers launched into the attack. Kiba. Please Mother Nature, lend me your power to protect the innocent and my companions, I ask you to lend me your power, he said decisively while a green magic circle appeared around him. Muker. Annoying rangers, I've already told you that you are nothing to me, he said seriously while pushing the boys. Issei. What is that? He said confused as a bunch of tree roots emerged from the ground and immobilized the monster. Kiba. It's your end monster force of nature, he said with all his strength while launching a sharp cut against his opponent, destroying him. Akeno. You did a Kiba-kun, she said happily as the other rangers arrived at her side. Euchre. Don't celebrate victory so quickly, rangers, he said now like a giant. Issei. Guys, let's quickly change to Mighty Morphin. Gustav prepares the Zords, he said seriously through the communicator. Gustav. Why don't the Zords become better? He said amused. Hineko. Gustav senpai, what are you talking about? She said confused like everyone else, but at that moment the boys' morphers shone in different numbers. Issei. And this, he said confused. Gustav. It's your new code for the mystical titans, he said calmly. Issei. Okay, let's work, he said seriously while the 5 boys entered the new code. Morpher Golgik, Prifir Mystico. Rangers. Activating titans. Kiba. Mystical Minotaur. Rias. Mystical Fairy. Hineko. Mystical Mermaid. Akeno. Mystic Garuda. Issei Mystic Phoenix. Place the video from second 046. Rangers. Ancient Mystic Titans power. Gustav. Likewise the code will allow them to join together to form the Titanic Megazord, he said seriously. Issei. Got it guys, go ahead, he said seriously as he began to run against the monster, throwing several cuts with his sword. Sikvera Kai, it's not just one mecha, it's 6 more, she said excitedly as she saw Sona and her group appear next to her. Sona. You're wrong, there are 12 in total, she said seriously. Sikvera. About 12, she said incredulously and very excited. Sona. Just like now there were also 5 before and they became 1, now there are another 5 that could possibly also become 1, although these have a more human form, she said thoughtfully. Kiba. My turn, he said hitting him with the axe. Rias. Guys, let's finish this soon, she said seriously. Bremeries. At your command, they said seriously. Rangers Golgik, Mystic Union. Everyone, including the demons, especially Sikvera, who had a nosebleed, saw the 5 titans become 1, much larger and for obvious reasons more powerful. Sikvera Kai, it's huge, she screams totally excited. Kiba. Wow, this place is amazing, said looking at his new fighting booth. Hineko. It's true, she said intrigued. Akeno. I understand now, the cabin is like a chessboard, we control our fight with strategic movement, she said curiously. Rias. Great, chess is my game, she said excitedly. Issei. Okay guys, let's finish him off, he said seriously. Bremeries. At your command, they said determinedly. Rangers Titanic Megazord. Thus the battle between both colossi began, while the boys showed a clear advantage against their opponent who slowly lost power, and not even the battle even using explosive balls that did not cause damage to the Rangers' Megazord. Issei. This has already lasted too long, he said seriously. Rangers. Mystic Saber, they said in unison, showing a giant sword for the Megazord. Issei. Maximum power, he said seriously. Rangers. Mystic Seal, they said loudly as the Megazord launched a powerful attack, destroying the enemy who fell and exploded. Play the video from Minute 120. Rangers. Checkmate. Gustav. That's excellent work, he said while celebrating with Alpha. The Rangers returned to normal as they watched many people like the press as well as those envoys from the church and the demons surrounding them. Reporter. Rangers, could you please answer our questions? He said nervously. Issei. We are sorry, but we are here to protect the city and the world from these monsters, not to answer questions, he said sincerely. Reporter. We just want to know if you are allies of the other Rangers who had those strange dinosaur-shaped robots, she said seriously. Rias. There are no other Rangers, it's us, but depending on the situation we will have to use other types of powers, she said seriously, while the 5 disappeared in an ace of light. Base Ranger. The 5 boys appeared at the base, losing their morphosis and sitting down after the battle, since their fatigue was noticeable. Issei. Wow, the titans are amazing, he said calmly. Gustav. I know, but thanks to your progress, we were able to activate the code, he said happily. Rias. Kiba, could you tell us where you were? She said seriously as she stood in front of the boy who remained with his head down. Kiba. I regret my actions, but and I will accept any punishment that you give me. He couldn't continue because Rias hugged him. Rias. Don't disappear again without warning, she said worriedly. Issei. She's right, you gave us quite a scare, he said as he placed his hand on the blonde's shoulder while he watched as everyone including Gustav looked worried. Kiba. It won't happen again, he said with a smile. Gustav. You met Deeker, right? He said something calmly. Kiba. You know him, he said amazed. Gustav. Not really, but when I saw his sword, Uramasa, I understood why the Morpher's locator failed, he said calmly. Issei. Who is that Deeker, he said curiously. Gustav. He was a man with a tragic past who lost his humanity along with his beloved, becoming a ruthless being. He was a rival of the Power Rangers samurai, a real threat to the Red Ranger. But in the end he proved to be an honorable warrior, as well as possessing one of the legendary weapons in Ranger history, he said seriously, while several weapons appeared on a screen that were in two lists where some said allies and others enemies. Keno. Because some weapons are red and others are blue, she said curiously. Gustav. Because the blue ones are in our possession while the others are missing, but thanks to Kiba, we have another one, he said calmly while they watched on the screen how the Uramasa went from red to blue. Kiba. No thanks to me but to my master, he said calmly. Issei. Your master, he couldn't continue because a sound started to play. Rias. What's happening? She said alarmed. Alpha. A new energy ranger was detected, he said excitedly. Keno. Seriously, where, she said curiously. Gustav. Triangulating the signal, it seems to be a mine very close to a church, he said seriously, pointing to a church. Kaneko. A mine, she said confused. Rias. Is that not a church? She said incredulously. Issei. The ancient lair of the fallen. Mission in the mine. Gustav looked somewhat confused at the five rangers as he didn't know why they had become so serious after revealing the location where the new ranger energy was, or rather what was near the place. Gustav. Well, someone would like to tell me what happened in that church, he said curiously. Issei. That place was the lair of some fallen angels, he said something sad. Rias. Well, you see, a few weeks ago before Issei became my pawn, he and Basara the Securite became Sonas. They were intercepted by a fallen angel called Rainer who attacked and killed them, but we arrived in time to save us, but that attack was only the first since Issei made contact with a young nun named Asia Argento. The girl deceived by the fallen angels who only wanted her for her sacred gear. Issei tried to save her, but we were late, she said sadly. Issei. He died, said Teist lowering his head. Gustav. I'm sorry, he said sadly. Rias. We managed to finish off 3 fallen and a few traitor priests, but Rainer escaped with Asia's sacred gear, she said sadly. Gustav. I understand now, will you tell me when you want to go for the energy, he said calmly as he turned around and walked to the exit. Issei. We must not waste time, let's go. So the 6 of them left the club in the direction of the church, while on the other hand, we can see Sekvera changing through the streets of Ku while looking at many images of the Zords and the Megazord. Sekvera Kaya, I can't believe I saw them live and direct, she said very excitedly. Sona. You keep going crazy with your giant robot, she said seriously with her entourage. Sekvera. What do you want, Sona? She said somewhat upset. Sona. Tell you the same thing I told Rias, don't think that you will have the power of the Rangers, they will belong to my family, she said seriously. Sekvera. And what makes you think they would want to be with a bossy, arrogant woman? She said seriously. Sona. I already warned you, that power will be mine, she said seriously as she left with her group. Sekvera, but what a pain. Ku church. The 6 boys arrived at the place where everything seemed to be calm, but they quickly had to hide when they saw the 2 church messengers leaving the place. Rias. Damn, it was more than obvious that they would be here, she said seriously. Keno. Rias, lower your voice, they can hear us, she said seriously, while the 2 envoys turned in her direction, making the boys nervous. Irina. Something's wrong, Zenobia, she said curiously. Zenobia. It's nothing, I thought I heard something, she said seriously. Irina. It was probably your imagination, she said calmly. Zenobia. Anyway, we must complete our 2 missions by walking, she said seriously as they began to walk. Irina. You're right, I hope to meet the Power Rangers and have them join the church, she said happily. Zenobia. Me too. Gustav. Wow, that was close, he said relaxedly coming out of the bushes. Issei. We must hurry up before they return, he said seriously while everyone nodded. So after walking a few meters they were able to find the mine and entered it and began to dig in different places trying to find the energy. 2 hours later. Issei. Where the hell is it? He said while sticking his pickaxe into the ground. Gustav. I don't know, but this place is huge, he said seriously. Kaneko. This could take us days, she said tiredly hitting a wall. Rias. Come on guys, we can't give up so easily, he said trying to encourage the team. Oh, but look who we have here, some children, said a voice behind them. Kiba. A monster, he said seriously while the 6 looked at a strange creature with a hydraulic hammer. Such rude children, we must teach them a lesson, he said seriously while a bunch of strange beings appeared behind him. Issei. What are those? He said seriously while the 6 of them got into a fighting stance. Hogs, finish them off, I'll keep searching, he said seriously as the beings began to attack. The boys quickly began to fight against the soldiers, sometimes using their magical abilities, except for Issei and Gustav, who only used their physical abilities. Issei. Damn, we have to get to him before he gets the energy, he said seriously. Kiba. But these bastards don't give us time to transform, he said while cutting some with his swords. Rias. I will finish them off once and for all, she said seriously while releasing a large amount of power of destruction. Gustav. Rias, stop, don't do it, he said alarmed. Rias. But why, she said confused. Gustav. If you launch such a strong attack in a place like this, you could cause a landslide and end up burying us, he said seriously. Rias. Then what are we going to do? He said while hitting a couple of enemies. Gustav. I'll go, he said while pressing some buttons on his bracelet, making a strange sword with a wolf's head appear. Gibba. And that sword, he said curiously. Gustav. It's the shadow saber, it doesn't have all its power, but it will help, he said seriously as he began to cut several enemies running to the place where the monster was. Ahaha, the masters will be very happy with my work. I, the great Digster, will get the ranger energy, he said maliciously while using his hydraulic hammer to search for the energy. Gustav. I don't think so, he said giving him a cut on the back. Digster. Damn brat, you have a ranger gun, he said seriously. Gustav. Stop talking, fight, he said while running against him, clashing their weapons. Digster. Oh, the masters will be happy, not only will I take their energy, but I will also finish off the Power Rangers, he said seriously while launching an attack towards the boy. Gustav. Slow, he said seriously while miraculously managing to dodge the attack. The attack threw a lot of debris from a wall, from which a few seconds later an unparalleled glow of different shades revealed a strange white crystal. Digster. That's it, he said incredulously. Gustav. The Zeo crystal, he said seriously as they both began to run towards it. Digster. You will never have the energy, he said seriously trying to attack the boy. Gustav. That's what you think, what is that? He said alarmed, pointing behind the monster. Digster. What is it? Wait, he said furiously as he watched the boy take the glass and start running. Issei. Ready guys, we're done, let's go help Gustav, he said seriously while the other four nodded. Gustav. Take out your morphers, serious shout while the five boys nodded. Issei. You did it, he said incredulously. Gustav. Here we go, he said seriously throwing the Zeo crystal that took no more than 5 seconds to break into 5 crystals with different colors that entered the boys' morphers. Issei. Incredible, he said incredulously while the five saw their new morphers. Gustav. Move your arms so they match and say Power Ranger Zeo, he said seriously while they saw the monster running towards them. Issei Kiba Kaneko Akeno Rias Power Ranger Zeo. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.